Hi, now we're going to look at the last subtopic in chapter 8, which is the fertilization. So first of all, we need to know the definition of the fertilization, and then we need to explain the stages that lead to the process of fertilization. So there are 4 stages that lead to fertilization. The first one is capacitation, the second one is acrosomeration, the third one is the fusion of the sperm head membrane and the oocyte membrane, and the last one is the cortical reaction. So now we're going to look at first the definition of the process of fertilization, which are the definition dia adalah it is the union or the fusion of the haploid gamete. So dia adalah the union ataupun fusion or the joining of haploid male and haploid female gamete to produce a diploid zygote, ataupun in other words the fusion of the sperm and the secondary oocyte to produce a diploid zygote. And the most important thing adalah the occurrence site is the fallopian tube, not the uterus. So proses fertilization ini berlaku di fallopian tube, bukan di uterus. Before we learn the stages that lead to the process of fertilization, we need to know the structure of sperm and the structure of the secondary oocyte. So first we going to look at the structure of the sperm, di mana sperm ni dia ada head. Inside the head of the sperm we have the nucleus of the sperm and the acrosome. So inside the acrosome there is a digestive enzyme or the hydrolytic enzyme. And then after the head we have the neck, and after the neck we have the middle piece. So the mid piece here we have the mitochondria, which supply the energy for the tail to be moved. Inside the tail of the sperm we have the flagella that will be used to move the sperm. Okay, itu adalah structure of the sperm. Now we're going to look at the structure of the secondary oocyte. The structure of secondary oocyte, we start with this cell, this one. So this cell dipanggil sebagai corona radiata. And then the second layer of the cell, the yellow one here, which is here, this is the jelly-like structure that we call as the zona pellucida. So this layer is very crucial in the fertilization process. After the zona pellucida, we have the oocyte plasma membrane here. Underneath the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte, we have this granule that we call as the cortical granule. And then inside the cytoplasm of the secondary oocyte baru ada nucleus of the secondary oocyte. So process fertilization started with the first stages that we call as capacitation. So proses capacitation ini is just focus on the sperm where it reached its final maturation. So once the sperm is inside the vagina of the female reproductive system, and then dia akan pass through to the uterus and then the oviduct ataupun the fallopian tube, the sperm will reach its final maturation and become more active. Why? Because the sperm is supplied with the mucus inside the female reproductive system untuk dia increase dia punya speed towards the secondary oocyte. So then, that is the first stages. The second stages that lead to the process of fertilization is the acrosomeration, where now the sperm is already reaching the oocyte, the secondary oocyte. So sperm sekarang dah sampai dekat secondary oocyte, dia dah berada di fallopian tube, and dia dah berada di kawasan zona pellucida dan juga corona radiata. So sel yang saya lukis ni adalah corona radiata. And here, the blue one here is the zona pellucida. So first, inside the sperm head, there is structure acrosome. So acrosome will release or will secrete an enzyme ataupun hydrolytic enzyme. So here, the green one, it will release this enzyme to hydrolyze the jelly layer. Jelly layer tersebut adalah the layer of corona radiata and zona pellucida. So acrosome will secrete the enzyme to digest the zona pellucida and corona radiata. After it release the enzyme, so now this sperm can pass through the zona pellucida. Then the sperm head will elongate. Sperm head tersebut akan memanjang selepas dia boleh dah penetrate the zona pellucida. Okay, next is the third stages that lead to the fertilization, where there is a fusion of the sperm head membrane and the oocyte membrane. Berlakunya pertembungan di antara plasma membrane of the sperm here and the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte. So berlakunya contact of the sperm and egg membrane. Berlakunya pertembungan di antara plasma membrane of the sperm dengan plasma membrane of the egg. Then right after the fusion occur, it leads to one important process in these stages that we call as depolarization of the oocyte membrane. Depolarization of the oocyte membrane ini seolah-olah dia trigger the electric charges here dekat plasma membrane of the egg that will act as the fast block to polyspermy. Okay, so dia adalah berlakunya depolarization ini untuk bertindak sebagai penghalang yang paling cepat to polyspermy. Polyspermy, it means that more than one sperm fertilize the egg. Kita tak nak lebih daripada satu sperm, kita hanya nak this sperm. So it means that this is the chosen sperm yang egg itu pilih. So the sperm yang lain kita dah tak nak. So berlakunya depolarization to avoid the polyspermy. And then the last stages that lead to the process fertilization is the cortical reaction, di mana below the plasma membrane of the oocyte there is cortical granule. So the cortical granule will release its content to harden the zona pellucida. Once saja this cortical granule melepaskan dia punya bahan, this zona pellucida will become hardened again. Why it will become hardened again? To prevent the penetration of another sperm. So this is the slow block to polyspermy. Okay, after berlaku depolarization, itu adalah fast block. Now the cortical granule will release its content to harden the zona pellucida as a slow block to polyspermy. Then the secondary oocyte in the egg akan complete meiosis 2. The secondary oocyte will complete process meiosis 2. Only then the nucleus of the sperm and nucleus of the egg will fuse to form the zygote. Only nucleus sahaja yang masuk ke dalam cytoplasm of the egg, and the sperm head and tail will remain outside the head. Okay, so we remain outside the egg, sorry. Okay, so that is the 4 stages that lead to the fertilization process. So in summary, so this diagram shows the summary of the stages that lead to the fertilization. The first stages is the capacitation, where the sperm will reach its final maturation and increase its speed. The second stages is here, di mana first the sperm will reach the egg. After the sperm reach the egg, it will release the enzyme inside the acrosome here to digest the zona pellucida and corona radiata. After that, the sperm head will elongate. So that is the second stages, which is acrosomeration. The third stages here, where there is a fusion of the sperm head membrane and the plasma membrane of the oocyte. So this will trigger the depolarization of the oocyte, which act as the fast block for polyspermy. And the last stages here is cortical reaction, where the cortical granule will release its content to harden the zona pellucida. So this will act as the slow block to the polyspermy. And then only nucleus of the sperm will enter the cytoplasm of the egg. And then the secondary oocyte akan complete meiosis 2. So bila dia complete meiosis 2, only then the nucleus of the egg will fuse with the nucleus of the sperm to form the zygote. So only then we say that the process of fertilization is complete. That's it.